Guess who's back? Back again. Let's try and do this again. My phone died halfway through the first recording and it didn't work. So we're gonna do it again. Hello everybody, how we doing? I'm back again. My name's Cass, I'm the guitarist for Sacravia, and I am somebody who has a bit of experience in the music industry, and I'm here to help you with getting your first gig, which is very exciting and something that you should be looking forward to if you are watching this video. So this video is basically going to be going over playing your first gig and what that entails basically, because it's very exciting playing your first gig, and it's something that you need to not be worried about, and it's just a fun experience and you should just enjoy it. I also just posted this video before, so please do go check that out before watching this one, because it's about how to start a band in 2026. I apologize for last video. I didn't have much energy because I was actually ill, but I'm okay now, so yeah, that's good. Right, anyway, so let's get straight into it, shall we? This is playing your first gig, and I'm offering some tips and do's and don'ts for playing said gig. Now, before anything else, before even stepping on the stage, you want to make sure that you've refined your set to the point where it's almost perfect. Now, the way to do this is doing rehearsals beforehand, before even playing the show. And in these rehearsals, your aim is basically just to go through the set and get it to a point where each song is, mastered to perfection, basically. And you're putting on a good performance as well. So what I like to do in these sessions is, of course, first of all, you want to pick your set list for the show that you're going to be playing, because that is the foundation of what you're going to be doing, and obviously it's something you need to decide. So before anything else, decide your set list, decide what songs are going to go where, and how you're going to manage your time so that it fits in the set that you've been given. Once you've done that, then obviously you want to set up and you want to go through the set a few times. Just get a feel for it, feel the motions of it all, and get it to a point where each song is pretty spot on. And this will help when playing live, because you'll know what goes where and what to expect, and what you're actually playing, which is always a good thing. Now, when you're rehearsing, you shouldn't just be rehearsing the set and the songs that you're going to be playing. There's actually two other things that you need to be doing. So the first thing is you want to be able to pretend as if you're playing to a live audience and actually going through your stage presence. Now, your stage presence is another massive part of your live performance, because not only are you playing the songs, but you want to be able to perform while you're playing the songs. That's why it's called a performance. So actually rehearsing how you're going to be moving about is another massive thing that is beneficial to you, and one thing that I'd recommend you do above anything else, because being able to look cool on stage is just as important as being able to sound cool. As a person who goes to gigs all the time, I love when a band can put on a good live show as well, and by that I mean having cool stage presence, jumping into the crowd or telling the crowd to do certain things. It always makes the show a lot more interesting, and it makes me more interested in the band as well, because you want to follow along what they're doing if they're putting on these awesome shows that you don't really see too often. And then my other point is you want to be able to be quick on the pack down and your setup as well, because those are another two really important things that you're going to need when playing live. So yeah, just when you're rehearsing, just take maybe like half an hour and just go through the motions of packing up, setting up and packing down. So by that I mean just taking all your equipment, packing it away, and then unpacking it and getting it fully set up, ready to go. And alternatively, obviously, packing everything away to the point where it's ready to be loaded back into your vehicles or wherever you're taking it. Now, this is really important and something that you should be able to get very fluent at, because you're going to be doing it at every show you go to, and it makes you look way more professional as a band if you're able to pack up. Bloody hell, I keep getting the two mixed up. If you're able to set up and pack down quickly, and it's definitely appreciated by the venue owners. Like I said, when it comes to rehearsing the performative side of things, interactions with crowds is one of the biggest things that I would say to focus on. Figuring out what you're going to say to the crowds in between songs, because obviously you want to tell the crowd a little bit about yourselves in between too, like, who you are, who's on what, what instrument, and how long you've been going, and so on and so forth. It could literally be anything, but you want to be able to interact with the crowd when you're playing live, because it makes so much of a difference. Things that could be included in this is how you're going to get the crowd to move. If you're at a metal gig, for example, how to get a crowd to do a wall of death or a circle pit, or to start a mosh pit, or if you're in another band, getting the crowd to clap along with the song or sing a couple lines of the chorus, for example. These are all things that you could be practicing in these rehearsals before you even go to this first show that you're going to play. So yeah, that now brings me on to my second point, promoting the gig, because obviously you've got to have people show up to the gig. You don't want to be playing to an empty room. Nobody does. So that's definitely the next step. Now, promo can be done in so many ways. You can do the online way, which would be, reels and comments and all of that kind of thing. And then you can do real world stuff as well. You could put up posters or hand out leaflets or something. Well, it's a very odd way of promoting your gig, handing out leaflets, but whatever floats your boat, whatever works. Now, if you're going to be putting up posters, obviously print out like 50 copies, just go around the local area where you're going to be playing and just stick them up, and people will hopefully look at that and go, oh yeah, I want to go to that. So there's that side of it, and then there is the digital side of things, where you can use platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat stories. There's a lot of things, Facebook as well too, and just create some posts using what I'd assume would be the poster that you've been given from the venue, because usually when you go to play a show, a poster will be made for that show, which you can then post online. So that will be your first post to make, is take that poster, post it on your account, and then in the caption, make sure you add these three things. So you want to tell people the time that the gig is, you want to tell people where the gig is, and you want to tell people how much it's going to cost to go see you guys live. And those are the three things that you need to put in the caption for people to know all the details straight away. You'll also probably be given a ticket link by the venue or the promoter, and this is really, really important because people need the ticket link to be able to buy the tickets to come to the show. I know, crazy, right? So yeah, once you have the ticket link, plaster it on your stories, put it in your bios, and send it to anyone that you think might be interested in coming to the show. And when making a story actually on Instagram, you do actually get a feature where you can actually add a link and edit the text on the link to say like tickets here or something, and put it really big on your story so people can just literally click it and get sent to the website to buy it. It's really useful and something that you should definitely be doing if you've just gotten a gig. So I recommend doing that before anything else when it comes to playing live. Next step is just performing it and having fun and not worrying, because I know it can get stressful playing your first show. I remember my first show, and it was an interesting one. I was very, very young. I didn't really know what was going on, and I just remember being very scared. People scare me, and I got a bit of stage fright, and that's absolutely fine. If you get a bit of stage fright, don't feel embarrassed by it. I mean, it's a big thing going on stage in front of a bunch of people that you don't know. But at the end of the day, one thing that I always learned, that I learned to tell myself when I play live, is the crowd's there just having a fun time and chill and enjoy some music. They're not there to ridicule you or, critique you. Sometimes if things go wrong too, it happens. It happens to everyone. You know, nobody is perfect, and also the pros mess up, so don't worry about it. But the great thing is that you're actually performing live, because that is one step that so many bands can't get past, and you should feel very, very proud that you've been able to get to that point. So I've compiled like a list here of do's and don'ts for when it comes to playing live, because I understand that there are some things you should do when you play, and some things you definitely shouldn't do when you play. Let's kind of go through that list and I'll explain it basically. So one of the do's is check equipment. Now this is a really important one, because obviously you need to make sure you have all your equipment before you even start heading to the venue. I've done it a few times before. I've forgotten things and it becomes a hassle, because it's quite embarrassing asking other bands if they've got certain piece of equipment because I forgot it, and sometimes accidents do happen, and that's fine. But to really avoid this problem, when you're in rehearsals, sit down and make a list of all the items you need. And actually, in the if you're messaging the venue, they should tell you what in-house equipment they already have, like breakables, drum shells, cabs, and all of that, cool stuff. So understand that you need to check these equipment lists that the venue supplied to you, and then with that, figure out what you need to take with you, whether you need to bring cymbal stands, mics, cabs, all of that. And create a list of all the equipment you need. And then on the day of the gig, just go through the list, grab the things you need, and just tick it off. So, once you've gotten everything, you can check the list to see if everything's ticked, and that way you know that you have all your equipment. The next one is check travel time, because obviously you don't want to be showing up to these venues late. That looks bad on you, and you'll get reputation as the band that's always late, and you don't want to have to deal with that, because that's not good for anybody, and people will be put off booking you for shows. So one thing that you need to take into account is how long it's actually going to take you to get to the venue, because this is a variable thing. If you're driving, sometimes there'll be road closures or there'll be traffic, and you need to account for that. So on the morning of the day that you're going to be playing, just double check the time that it's going to take you to get to this venue, and just account for that, and set your route accordingly and set off when you need to. And this goes for as well if you're taking public transport, like trains, buses, or if you're actually walking to the venue, if you're lucky enough that the venue is that close. The next thing I said that kind of goes off of what I just said is show up on time. One way that people will know that you are committed and that you're interested in playing is showing up on time. If you show up late, it shows people that you're disorganized and that you don't really care. Whereas if you're showing up on time, you can follow instructions and you can act professionally and be a professional band, which will get you good reputation around venues and promoters and other bands in the area. And that always leads to more gigs if you've got good rep. So yeah, especially if you've been given a load-in time, don't show up to the load-in like an hour late, or showing up to the load-in during sound checks, because that looks really bad. Don't do that. Show up on time. Another one, so when performing live, sometimes venues will have a specific set of rules that may apply. Like there was, for example, a venue I played at where the venue floor was actually upstairs. It was an upstairs venue, and the flooring was a bit dodgy, and it wasn't fully structurally sound, which I know sounds dodgy as hell, but it was fine. But basically they just said that don't have people jumping around, don't encourage crowds to jump around and push each other, because it actually could damage the flooring. And this is what I mean when I say you need to respect venue rules. This is a big one, because if you want to be able to play there again, you don't want to be damaging the property, because they just won't have you back if you're doing that. So always respect the venue rules and make sure that you are abiding by them. Next up is, I wrote this, but it's not something you have to do. It's something I'd recommend, because it just shows that you're interested, and it could be better for you. And that is to stay for the whole night. Now, if you're opening for a set, it's always good to stick around after you've played, because it shows that you're interested and that you like the music and that you're there for the scene, basically. All too many times have I seen bands that have been playing underneath us just up and leave after they're done, and it just kind of gives off the vibe that they just don't care, and that's obviously not a good thing, because then we have an idea that this band just doesn't really care. Whereas bands that stay around the whole night and talk with us and have fun, it's always a good vibe, and you get to really see why this band is what this band is like. And yeah, I really appreciate when bands stick around the whole night. Sometimes I understand that travel, or it's late and you need to get back and something like that, or whatever. Sometimes things happen, but if you can, try and stay the whole night, because it does show that you care, and bands like that and promoters like that too. Next up, and I said this earlier, but be fast on setup and pack down. Now, I know it may not seem like a big thing, but actually, if you're able to be quick on the changeover, that's always a massive benefit, because it makes you look more professional, and it actually makes you more reliable to work with as well, from a promoter's standpoint. So if you're able to rehearse your setup and pack down, like I said earlier, it will make you seem more professional, you'll be quicker, and it'll probably give you more opportunities in future, because people will know that you are reliable and that you can stay to your assorted time, basically. The don'ts are basically the opposites of what I've just said. So don't not check your equipment. That odd sentence, but yeah. Basically, if you're not checking your equipment, that's bad, and you need to get on top of that, because you don't want to be forgetting things. You don't want to have to be that guy that's asked the other band for a cymbal stand, or or guitar picks, or whatever it may be. It's just something that looks bad if you have to do that, and I recommend that you check before you leave, basically. Obviously, don't be late. That is probably one of the biggest things that make you look bad as a band. Showing up late, or whatever, can really give off the vibe that you're unprepared or you don't care. Yeah, don't leave when you're done playing. Just try and stay the whole night. Obviously, don't disrespect the venue. Again, abide by their rules. If they have rules and they want you to be on top of them and respecting them, then that's the best thing you can do. Don't disrespect the venue, because they will not have you back otherwise. And you don't want to be losing out venues when you're just starting out as a band. You want to be able to have all the venues like you and know you, so you can get consistent gigs in your area. And now, this last one I've written is a big one, because actually I've seen it happen before, and well, for one, it really pisses me off, and the point is, don't waste time. I've seen it so many times where some bands will just waste time because, they're too busy talking or yapping about random things that, give no value to the show, and it actually just runs over the set time. It's one of those things, like, all the other bands are there to play as well. It's not just, the one band's night. If you are a band that's not the headliner, don't be wasting time. Well, even headliners too. Headliners can waste time. There's venue curfews and whatnot. So any band that's playing, don't waste time. Don't have an ego, because don't be thinking you're more important than the other bands on the lineup. Everyone there is there to play. It's not just you. So don't waste time. Yeah. Aside from that, I think that pretty much covers everything that there is when it comes to playing your first show. It's an amazing experience, and you'll have so much fun. And I know for one that you should not be worried or anything like that, because nothing bad will happen. It's just a fun night for you guys. So yeah, I actually had a lot of fun making this, because I remember my first show. It was an interesting experience, because obviously I was a little bit scared, but obviously once I got going, I loved it, and it made me realise that this is the kind of thing I want to do for the rest of my life. And we're now here. It's an awesome position to be in, to be able to play live shows all the time, and it's definitely something I wouldn't give up for the world. So yeah, I really want to thank you guys for watching. This has been so much fun, and thank you also for your responses to my first video, which I posted. That was awesome to see, and I really appreciate all of you for that. I'd appreciate if you guys could drop a comment on what other topics you'd like me to talk about music industry wise. There's so much to cover, and I'd like to know what you guys would like to see. Leave a like on the video too, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me out massively. I'm gonna try and be uploading every other day. We'll see how that goes. I'm busy, obviously. I'm in uni right now. I'm literally filming this in my uni room, which I'm probably gonna be in for a while until we move into the new house. But yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, and I hope that you guys have a great day, and I wish you all the best with your gigs. Let me know how they go as well. Drop a comment on if you are playing a live show. Let me know how it went and if this was any use to you guys. But yeah, that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.